Hi ladies, welcome to the wellness video. It's not Wellness Wednesday, it's a Thursday today, but still we have a video packed with good information for you. So hopefully you take I'm thinking about 10 minutes to really understand what is happening in your digestive system. And so we're going to be talking today about, when you have that stomach ache, you're like, oh, my stomach hurts. But do you really know where your stomach is? Or you just like pointing the belly and you really don't know what's happening and you don't know what's causing your stomach to ache. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of your digestive system. Hey, somebody's watching. And so that quick tour, it's really to help you understand the process that food goes through once it starts in your mouth and when it ends in the bathroom. And the idea, again, is to make sure that you can recognize essentially what are some of the things that throughout the trip, what are some of the things that you're feeling, and if you're getting uncomfortable, if some parts hurt, then you can recognize what are some of the parts of your body that hurt, and we can recognize some of the things that you can actually do to feel better. So let's picture that you are, I'm not gonna give an example, let's picture that you are eating a chicken sandwich for the example. And that chicken sandwich, for instance, has avocado. So let's first start by identifying the three-leg stool, which is something that I talked in another video, which is very important. The three-leg stool, it's basically the three macronutrients that most meals should have. So what are they? The carbs, the proteins, and the fat. I'm sorry, it's the fat, the proteins, and the fiber. Those are the three main things. And so if you identify them first, what will be the protein? The protein will be the chicken. What will be your fat? The fat will be your avocado. And what will be the fiber? Let's say you have some wheat bread, for instance. And so the fiber will be in the wheat. And also it's considered a carb as well. And so when you, in this case, the actual bread. So when you take the first bite, your digestive process actually starts in your mouth. And so it starts not even when you put it in your mouth. It starts when you look at the chicken sandwich and you start salivating. We produce about 1.5 liters of saliva every day. So it's a huge part of our digestive system, and it's I would say a lot. If you think about 1.5, it's like a bottle of Coke, like a Coke jar, for instance. So that's a lot. But okay, going back to the topic of today. So the actual process starts when you look at the chicken sandwich and you start salivating. Then you take a bite, and then your saliva starts right there and there decomposing the food that you ate. And so by the releasing enzymes that is in our saliva, we're start decomposing what we eat, and we'll start with the digestion of the carbohydrates, because the enzymes that we release start digesting the carbs. In this case will be the bread. And so then you swallow that, and then it goes into your esophagus, which is a 20 centimeter diameter tube that goes from your throat, like around here, and it connects into your stomach. Now here's the question: where's your stomach? A lot of you are like, oh, I have a stomach ache, and then you guys point under your belly, and I think I talked about this in the past. That's not your stomach. If you think about your belly and you divide it in a quadrant, your stomach is actually on the upper left part, so kind of like right below and behind the ribs. So that's where the food comes in. At this point, the food, it's called bolus. And so once it gets into the stomach, the acid on the stomach start actually the process of digesting and breaking down some of the foods as well. So once it gets into the stomach, then we have actually the liver sending the bile, which is another liquid that helps with the decomposing of the fats and decomposing of the carbohydrates. That it starts there in the stomach, and also the proteins. But then the actual absorption of the nutrients start in the second part, which is in your small intestine. I would call it the second part because it's first we start kind of like breaking down the food in your mouth with peristalsis in your esophagus. Peristalsis is the movement of the different muscles to bring down the food, and also the stomach does that as well. And so once we make it into a chyme, it goes into the small intestine. Now the small intestine, it's one of the most important parts of the digestive system, because again, this is where the nutrients get absorbed. And so in the inner lining of the small intestine, we have what we call the villi, or the villi. And so these are like little things, like picture that you have like a shrag rug. So these little shrag rugs are essentially, sorry, I just got an incoming call, the internal parts of your small intestine. And so that's what is in charge of actually getting the nutrients and taking it into the bloodstream. So, and that's actually below your belly button. So when you think about, oh, my belly button hurts, like my stomach hurts, that's not truly your stomach, it's your actual small intestine. And like I said, it is in charge of digesting and absorbing the nutrients, especially fat, and for the proteins as well. And so if you're having pain in that part, it's because then you might not be able to, your small intestine might be not functioning properly for the absorption of those nutrients. It might be that you don't have a strong internal lining for the absorption of nutrients. It might be that you ate so much that your small intestine, it's probably way too expand and it's inflamed, and that's why it hurts as well. So that's why I think it is very important to understand our digestive system, but most importantly to understand where everything is located, so that you can pinpoint what is it that it hurts, and also pinpoint when is it that it hurts. The digestive process can last from anywhere from 2 to 40 hours, depending on what we eat and depending on how effective our body is. So it is always important to recognize where is the pain, and recognize and associate it with the food that you ate. So let's go back to our chicken sandwich. Once you're done in the small intestine, which is essentially in the middle of your lower part of the abdomen, behind the belly button, then whatever nutrients and dead cells and some liquid as well gets left behind, it goes into our colon, or the long intestine. And that starts, it's the part that actually goes up and around and then goes down again from our right side into the upper part of the abdomen, and then down in the left side into the rectum. And so once it gets into the rectum, essentially the body gets notified that we have an accumulation there, and then it starts to expand. And that's when you think about going to the bathroom, hopefully. And so this process, again, can take from 2 hours to 40 hours. And the whole point of me telling you the story is so that you can effectively understand what the process is and what hurts when, right? And also, I think it is very interesting to understand the process of food combining, and why do we combine the food in different ways. So if you've heard me talk in the past, you know that ideally we want to eat our fruits earlier in the morning, and we want to eat the fruits by themselves, because combined with other things can make the digestive process slow down, and it could be less effective. So if you eat fruit by itself, it's the fastest thing that gets digested. It goes into the stomach very quickly, small intestine and long intestine. But what happens if you eat, let's say, chicken with pineapple, for instance, or chicken with, strawberry? The food or the fruit will actually, since it has a faster digestion process, while it's sitting in the stomach waiting for the protein to get digested, it kind of like sits in there. So it starts to get putrefied a little bit, and it starts to get a little bit toxic. And so that's why you get like maybe gases and bloating, because the timing in what you eat and the process that is taken to digest the things that you're eating, it's a mismatch. So that's why, depending on what you're doing, but if you're doing a protocol where you're trying to heal your gut, where you're trying to give a piece to your digestive system and rebuild your digestive system. So if you're doing a protocol which is like no sugar, no gluten, or not dairy, also it is important to keep in mind the food combination. And when I talk to clients and when we do programs, it's usually trying to combine, let's say, animal proteins with vegetables, or if you are going to have beans, or if you are going to have rice, if you are gonna have grains, it's great to combine it with veggies and not with animal protein, because it takes longer to digest that. So I mean, there are different rules. We can talk more about it. I don't fully abide by them all the time. I keep them in mind, but I don't fully abide them. I don't recommend my clients to do so. It's truly about your constitution and your own situation and what you're feeling, because at the end of the day, there is not one diet for everyone. I always say this: your diet, nobody should be able to tell you exactly what you should eat. You should be listening to your body, but you should also be aware of your constitution and what works for you. And so that's kind of like what I'm passionate about, and I dedicate my life to. Well, part of my life to to helping you be in alignment, finding out your constitution, finding out what works for you. All right, somebody's watching. I don't know who that person is, but I appreciate it because it's been a long video. Yeah, so that's all I have for the video today. I want to tell you that I'm excited. I am going to be launching a new series of programs soon, and I am excited because a lot of you have worked with me in the past. We've done challenges, we've done different things, and I am going to be launching different things as the summer comes up, so that we can work on different parts of your digestive system that you want to improve. So I'm excited about that. Stay tuned. I will be posting more details next week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.